What's up, guys? I'm going to be showcasing a deck from set 22 or 21 that's coming out. I think this particular leader, I'm going to be doing this for all the leaders. Some of the leaders I will omit though because I don't think that they're very good, or I just don't understand the deck to a greater extent. So I will be omitting some of the decks, but I do want to showcase this deck in particular. I think this deck is really good for what it does. It's able to do a lot of good plays, and being a yellow leader actually has access to a lot of control aspects of it, so I want to demonstrate this particular deck. So let's start us off right away. Alright, so let's start us off. So I kind of want to go for like the turn by turn basis on what they do. So first we're going to do like a kind of like a real life game, but not really. We're just going to be playing against nobody. We're really just showing a turn by turn scenario. So we're going to shuffle our deck. We're going to draw 6 here. So the card you want to start with in this deck is this card, because it's also a sensu bean on your opponent's turn if you have 4 or less life. Actually, you don't have to be a Z leader, so you can actually use this when your leader is on the backside. It doesn't have to be a Z leader, but you do have to have 4 or less life, I believe, according to the text here. Let's see. It says if your leader is a Freiza, the Emperor who swore revenge, or a yellow Freiza Z leader, and your life is at 4 or less, then you are able to use this ability. So it has that sense of being ability. So you definitely want to keep this, especially since you are going to be able to play Riposte for 1 energy. I did see that I do have Riposte here. Your leader is able to search the top 5 cards of your deck, add either the Return of the Army of Terror or a yellow Frieza to your hand. So this means you can add any of your Friezas that are 8 cost, but the Return of the Army of Terror can only add 5 cost or less Friezas from your deck, and it has to have the swap ability, so you can't add like all the other Friezas like the 5-drop that was out there previously. So this deck is pretty much geared for the Frieza swap. Alright, so my opening hand, I kind of want to keep the Riposte just for floodgating. It depends really much on your matchups, but most of the time you're going to be keeping this. So since I already have one, I'm going to try to mulligan out of this. Receive Retaliation, cool, it just depends on the matchup, but let's pretend we're going to go for maximum. Engine here. So we're going to shuffle our decks, we're going to keep these 2 cards, we're going to draw 4. And it looks like we draw these cards. We draw the 8-drop, which allows us to swap into it, so we don't have to search for the top 5, which is good. And then we drew a 5-drop that's searchable anyway, so it's not too bad. So we're going to put the life out. Okay, cool. So first turn, what you want to charge is usually an extra card, just because you want to have your Riposte live literally by turn 1. But against slower matchups, you don't really mind charging a battle card here. And since you already have 2 of these, I'm probably thinking of charging one of these. Then I'm going to activate main here to look at the top 5 cards for Army of Terror. So the reason why I want to do this first before activating the Return of Terror first is because I want to see what my options are before I activate this. Because if I shotgun and play this first and then look at the top 5, I might not like the cards that I see. So I'm going to do that first. So top 5 here, we're going to do this. And then we're probably going to add the 1-drop. The one card you want to look for is the 1-drop. If you don't see the 1-drop, then you can search for it. In that case, we're going to search for the 3-drop because it's going to complete the Freiza chain. So we're going to add this to our hand here. And we're going to shuffle our deck, or I think we're supposed to bottom deck actually. No, we're shuffle our deck. So it looks like we have to shuffle our deck here. And then from there, we're going to activate Army of the Return of the Army of Terror, which is a free cost card. And then you basically search for the 1-drop here. And then we add the 1-drop to hand here. And then this goes to the drop area. So now you have 1 card open, or you have 1 yellow extra card. So our Riposte just needs 1 more, either in our energy or drop area. Then we're going to pay 1 energy to play this card. The reason we're playing this card first is because it does have barrier, as opposed to waiting a turn. We're going to use our energy right away so that the next turn we can just swap right into the next one. This does have an ability when it's played, you get to add a yellow Frieza with swap from your Z energy. So it helps you look through your Z energy and then swap it with the card in your hand. I really like that mechanic because it makes this deck a little bit unique compared to the other ones. Frieza, especially the yellow Friezas, have always been kind of a unique leader. I can go back to the ones where you don't take life, instead it gets flip face up instead of going to your hand. I always think that was kind of interesting about that leader. This one's no different, except it's unique in its own way in being able to swap cards from your Z energy to your hand using this ability. So most likely you're going to pass here. You won't be able to attack going first. So, and also you'll need to have 2 energies to activate his alternative awakening. So we're going to pass here. We're going to pretend that they're attacking us. So we're going to pretend that they attack us. So we're not going to Z-charge anything yet. We could theoretically Z-charge this guy because we can fetch it later, but we don't need to do that. So we're going to take the damage here. Go to cool. We got the Return of Terror. Return of the Army of Terror, which is another good card to have, and then this will pretty much enable so our robotic riposte can be paid for 1. Okay, and most likely this is going to be the leader that's swinging, so you're just going to pass here, draw for turn, and then now you drew the 5 costs. But this one right here has a really good ability of being able to draw a card, so I'm probably going to keep this 5 drop just in case there's there's no other copies in the deck, because we're going to essentially search for it with this one. So we're going to charge this one because we don't need another one. And then we're going to use the skill of this first before we decide to use the other one. We do have all the Freiza chains, so we do have the 8 costs, the 5 costs, the 3 costs, and the 1 cost. But this particular Freiza, I want the 3 costs that basically Z charges for me. This one doesn't Z charge as much, but it does Z charge on the backside, so it doesn't really matter what I get here. So I'm going to activate the skill here. Look at the top 5. And then I'm going to add a Freiza, a yellow Freiza, or a Return of the Army of Terror. We're going to add this 5-drop Freiza since we don't have it. This is a good one because it reminds me of Trunks Cheetah. Instead of resting the card though, it negates the card. So it has barrier and blocker. That's really cool about that. Also has 20k double strike, or 20k dual attack if it's played through swap if you have 3 more energy. So we're going to put that to our hand, and then now we're going to activate. We might decide to keep this in our opening hand, but I'm actually going to activate this because I want to have 2 yellow extra cards right away. And from here we're going to search for the 3-drop that when it attacks it gets the Z charge. Okay, this is the one. So this is the one that Z charges, and then we're going to place this in the drop. This Z charges by looking at the top 3 cards of your deck and then choosing a Freiza's Army card, and then combo it and bottom deck the rest. Okay, from here we're going to use the swap ability, and this is going to proc our leader alternative awakening condition. So we're going to use this ability, and the swap generally costs 1 yellow energy, but your leader reduces the swap skill by 1 yellow energy, so that's perfect. So you're going to be able to use this one. Just so you guys know, to activate the swap effectively, you have to play the card first. You don't return the card, you're going to play the card first, and so you're going to play this one, and then you're going to return this back to your hand. Now that he's out and you activate a swap ability, you're going to awaken your leader. Since he doesn't untap energy, it might as well just awaken. So you're going to ult awaken, and they're going to draw 2. Okay, perfect. So this is basically a good start. You basically didn't pay any energy to do this whole ability, and so you're gonna swing with yeah. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna swing with Overflowing Confidence. You're gonna use the skill here and not use his ability to look at the top 3 cards, but you're gonna use its own ability. The reason why you want to do this is because you can only Z charge once per battle. So you want to Z charge on this attack. You're gonna look at the top 3 and then Z charge. So you're gonna look at Peep 3. And then it looks like we have a Freiza's Army card that we can combo. So we're going to choose this one. Looks like our 2 supers combos came up, so we're going to have to bottom deck these unfortunately because that's what the Freiza does. And then it goes into the combo area. So the reason why you want to use his own ability to combo instead of using this ability is because we're going to swap this card away, and if we swap this card away we won't be able to use his ability, so we got to do it now. So this is going to charge or Z charge, but it's going to hit for 24, and after that we Z charge. So now we have 1 open here, and then now that we have this here, we're going to be able to draw a card by using the swap ability of this. This one would cost 2 generally, but since your leader also reduces the cost of swaps on the backside, you'll be able to only pay 1 energy for this. So you can pay 1 energy to swap this. So you have the choice of being able to play this Freiza, or this there's a 5th one No, we charge that one. So we either choose this one or we choose this one. So if you're going against a deck that wants to pretty much limit the interactions of your opponent, you want to go for this strategy. But if you want to draw an extra card, you go for this one. Either way, you're able to use the swap ability on either, not either player's turn, but you can use the swap ability to go into the 8 drop. There's only one 8 target, so this is the only 8 target. So I think for the most part, you want to go into this one. So you're going to play this one in active mode. Then you're going to return this back to your hand. And now that you activate the swap ability, you're going to be able to draw with the leader on the backside. So you're getting a lot of advantage here. From here, you're going to be able to either leave this in active mode because it doesn't have the swap, or it doesn't have the dual attack ability, so it won't be able to restand. And it also has a blocker ability in active. So it just depends on the matchup. But for the most part, you're going to keep this in active mode. You're not going to swing with it unless you want to aggress your opponent. Since this leader doesn't attack when it draws, there's no need to attack with it. But if you do want to attack with this, you can actually proc the Z energy charge. So I would attack with this one just because you want to maximize your Z charge. So when you attack with this one, you'll be able to proc the leader ability. And this leader ability will look at the top 3. And you're able to see the 2 more. So since you already have the 1 drop in your hand, there's no need to have another one. So what I would do is probably Z charge this one. This one does have a Z energy ability. Yeah, this one has a Z energy ability. It says choose one of your yellow Saiyans or Freiza army cards, and then play this card from your Z energy, and then you add the chosen cards to your Z energy. So you basically swap from your Z to your battle area. So you're gonna combo this one, and this one's a 5k. The neat thing about comboing away a card from the top of your deck is that you could choose theoretically a 10k. These freezes are 10k combo powers, so that you can actually hit harder on some attacks. So we're gonna bottom deck the rest of these cards, and then we're gonna combo this Freiza up to 25k. So that's pretty good, and then you're gonna Z charge. So that's really good. So you do have the option of attacking with him, but depending on what the matchup is, I probably want to attack with the Z leader. Even though it is a free attack, I might not want to attack or help the other person awaken until I'm able to set up first. With one energy open, you are able to activate Robotic Riposte on your opponent's turn, so that's a really nice part of it. But you don't have, in my hand, I don't currently have any way to activate Final Flash or any yellow battle cards that like Vegito, the new Vegito counterplay, Overwhelming Might, I think that's what it's called. So yeah, but this is good enough. When your opponent plays a battle card, you get to choose one of those cards. Just an FYI, that card, this card has to negate the first battle card your opponent plays because it has an auto and it has a once a turn ability. So you can't stop autos. So yeah, so we're gonna pass here. You do have 7 life. I think you're supposed to go down to 6. So yeah, you're supposed to go down to 6 when you awaken. So yes, you're able to play the yellow control game. You do have Z energies charged, and you have this card to basically negate anything that you might not like on the first swing. So yeah, this is a really good control board, and then also has barriers, so it's hard to remove. It's also a 20k base. So yeah, so we're gonna pass here. They're most likely gonna pass, and you're gonna basically take damage, or most likely they're gonna be awakened. So they're going to be attacking you. You don't mind taking this damage because theoretically you can have a Frieza's army reinforcement to negate the next attack. So I'm going to most likely take this attack. If you do want to Z charge, you could. That'll help you Z awaken. The Z awakening condition is you do have to pay 1 energy, so just an FYI. And then you also have to have 4 or less life. So if your opponent aggresses you by turn 2, you're able to Z awaken. Keep in mind that if you do decide to Z awaken, he does go away at the end of your opponent's turn. But he does have a really cool ability, so you kind of want to keep the Z awakening for your own turn. Okay, so now here we're back here, so we're gonna basically take the damage here. No need to combo out of that one. And then look, lo and behold, we have the Frieza's army reinforcement that allows us to activate this on when they try to aggress us. Most likely they will not be able to aggress you past 5, but if they do, you can pretty much activate this and then take a life. And then I'm going to represent this as a Freiza army token. And then basically they're going to pass most likely, so you're going to restand everybody, you're going to draw. Now you have your one of Power of the Super Saiyan, really good handy tool to keep in your hand. Now that you're at 3 energy, you can actually go up into the 8 drop because the swap abilities for all of the 5s, the Frieza 5s, will require that you have at least 4 energy. So you're just going to Z charge. So I'm going to probably Z charge this one, so since I already have an extra copy in my hand. Okay, from here I want to pretty much aggress the damage here. I'm probably going to swing in with my Frieza first just because it's a battle card. So I'll attack with the battle card first. And since my leader doesn't really care for, doesn't really draw on attack, it's probably a better idea to attack with the Z battle or the battle cards first. So you're gonna attack here first, and then when it goes to the combo step, you can actually use this ability to look at the top 3. And then you're gonna choose a Freiza's army that you can combo with. Luckily, the robotic riposte is a Z battle, but you probably don't want to use that anyways. So you're gonna probably use this particular, and then bottom deck the rest. And then you're gonna pretty much Z charge to after that. And now, now that you're at 4 less life, you can actually Z awaken. Before you do that, you want to be able to use the swap ability or the draw on the swap ability. So you're gonna use this. You're basically gonna pay either 1 energy here to play the Freiza here. Now it does have the ability to swap with one of these. If you're missing a 3 cost, you could totally bring it back, but there's no need to do that because I do have both the 3 drops. If your opponent has a battle card in rest mode, you can actually play this out and then KO that card if it's 4 or less. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be in active mode to rest it, so you can actually just play it, choose a 4 cost that's already in rest mode and KO it. For the sake of learning it, we're going to do that. So we're going to activate the swap ability. It's going to be free. We pay the energy to play this already, so we're going to swap. We're going to play this one out, and then we're going to turn this back to hand. And now that we activate the swap ability, we're going to be able to draw a card. Cool. And then when you attack with this one, you're able to basically combo on the top of your deck. So you're going to look at the top 3. And it looks like we have another Freezes. We're going to combo away the 10k. The 10k seems to be the best one because it is able to be recycled. So we're going to combo this one. This does also have a Z energy ability. It says here if your leader is a yellow Freiza, your opponent has 2 or more energy, and you remove this card from your Z energy. You can essentially play the 1-drop Freiza from your hand for free if it's in your Z energy. If this card is in your Z energy. So we're gonna Z charge this guy after the combos, but this is basically hitting for 29. That's really good. So we did that already. So now that we have 4 things on our Z energy, we can actually pay 1 energy to go into the 20k. So we're gonna do that. So we're going to pay 3. We're going to send the cards that we don't need. We're going to send this one, and this one, since we don't need to use it. Okay, so we're going to place this on our drop. And then we're going to go into our Z deck. Okay, we found him. Unfortunately, we don't have it in our Z deck, so we're just going to play this on top of him. Okay, and then this one has the ability to reduce the swap ability, but we're really using it for being able to draw a card when we place it on top. And this gains, this basically stays until forever. Don't forget to Z stack with this guy. The Z stack is very important. So you're gonna Z stack. The sorbet here. The sorbet will be able to come out. You just have to pay 2 Z energies to be able to basically play this out, and then use his ability to rest a opponent's battle card with 7 costs or less. So you're gonna Z stack this. Okay, and then from there you have a 20k based leader. So if you activate swap once more, you're able to draw a card, or not. If you activate attack with a 5 cost Freiza or more, you're able to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and then use a Freiza. So basically comboing it for free. We're not going to use that ability yet, even though this reduces a lot of the swap ability. Unfortunately, it only reduces 1 yellow, and this does require 2 yellows, so we're only be able to swap paying 1 energy. I don't probably advise that you do that because you do have power of the Super Saiyan, so we're actually just going to keep this guy at a 20 base. We're going to attack with this leader into the 20k, and then that's pretty much it. And you basically are going to pass your turn here. You do have the option of activating the Return of the Army of Terror, but again, you kind of want to save this for the Senzu Bean skill. So you do have a lot of defense on your opponent's turn, but the first thing I would do is you're going to pass. When you do decide to pass, you want to use the power of the Super Saiyan first because you have an open energy, and then you're going to be able to, once you use that power of Super Saiyan, because that's the order of operation, you need to have an open energy to play this for free. Then you can play Robotic Riposte to negate an attack, and then if you want to Senzu Bean up on the attack, you can activate Army Return of the Terror, which is this card. So you have 3 forms of defense, and then you also have, if you really need it, that freezes Army Reinforcement. So this deck has a lot of ways to play defense, and you also have the super combo too. So we're just going to keep this in our hands here. And the reason why you want to play the Krillin Super Combo is because sometimes you're gonna clunk with a lot of 10Ks in your hand, such as this one. This one doesn't reduce its combo cost when it's in your hand, so you might want to bottom deck it. Other aspects, you do want to bottom deck sometimes the extra cards that you can't play, in case you do make a mistake and not have any energy opens to play them. You can actually bottom deck the extra cards. But this extra card for the most part is able to be played, but it does have a limit one. So just FYI on that part. Okay, so we're going to pass here. We're most likely going to be a 20k base, and if they try to aggress us by a wide board, you do have the ability to sensitive beat up. So that's not bad in my opinion. So most likely you're going to be able to use Power of Super Saiyan, so let's pretend that we use it on the opponent's turn. Draw a card. And then basically when they keep attacking you, you can basically play Riposte here, which is a Freiza's army. Then you also have this too, it's a sense beam. Let's just say they just really try to aggress you. And you also are able to negate an opponent's battle card once per turn. So that's really nice. That happens on both players' turn, not just your turn. You do have a 19k Freiza. That's really nice because sometimes the leader likes to go after the battle card, so they do have to combo up on this attack because it is a 19k base stat. But they're going to have to rest a lot of cards, and even though you're tapped out, you do have a lot of cards you can combo and pretty much negate with. So let's say we did all that, we're still at 4 life. At the end of turn, or let's say for example you do combo away a card. So let's say you combo away this card and you Z-charge it. If your opponent tries to play like if your opponent tries to play something with 7 cost or less, you can actually activate Sorbet here for free. You just do have to play 2 Z energy into your drop area. So let's just say we do that. You can actually just play the Sorbet here to help your Freiza because he's such a loyal servant here. And they have to play it by a skill. So most likely you're going to be using this on the Overwhelm battle cards that come out. Most likely the Vegeta. What is it? I don't know the name of the Vegeta, but it's an Overwhelm Vegeta, and then basically switch it to rest mode when they do decide to play it. And then this also has to send 2 cards from the Z energy to the drop to do that ability. So you have that ability, and then also has when it's played, you get to look at the top 5 cards, and then add the Return of the Army of Terror to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. And then if you do decide to add a card, you can discard a card. So this does a little bit of hand fixing as well. So we're going to use this ability, even though we've pretty much exhausted a lot of them already. Okay, so then there's none, so we just shuffle our deck. Okay, we shuffle our deck, and then we pretty much pass here. And when we pass, we have to send this Freiza back to the basically remove from play. Okay. Even if this card gets removed from play, I believe the leader still keeps the Sorbet underneath. I'm not too sure about that one, but just in case, ask your judge on that one. Okay, then we're gonna untap energy and draw. This Sorbet here, if your Freiza so happens to die, that has swap ability, you can actually free play this. And then when you play this, you get to add a Freiza with an energy cost of 1 from your drop area. Okay. Now you drew the Vegeta Final Flash, which is really good. You also have the Self Retaliation Cooler, which is also really good. So we're going to decide to charge this one. Yeah, we're going to charge this one since we already have one on board. There's an option to keep it. We're probably going to keep it actually. And we're going to charge this Freiza. Okay, now that we have the 4 energy open, we can actually go into the 8 drop. But before we do that, we want to at least have the ability to combo and basically waste a battle card swing. Probably going to swing with the lowest one first. Yeah, we're going to swing with the lowest one first because he is 19k. And then we're going to use his ability here to combo on the top of the 3 cards. And then it looks like we do have a Freiza's army right here. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to bottom deck the rest. So this Freiza's army is going to go into our Z energy here. We only have 1. Okay, so that's going to hit for 24. They're going to have the combo out of that attack. And then with this, you're able to reduce the energy cost of one of your Freezas by 1. So unfortunately, you won't be able to use... you could use this ability, but you would have to pay 4 energy. Actually, 3 energy. And that's kind of hefty. So we're just going to try to fuel up our Z energy here. So we did this ability, so now we're going to use other ways to do it. Such as this one. So we're going to pay 1 energy to play the Freiza here. And then we're going to swap for free because this reduces it by 0 to 0. We're going to swap into this one. Okay, and then going to attack. We're going to look at the top 3 again. And then it looks like we do have another Freiza's army. So we're going to bottom deck the rest here. Cool. So it hits for 24. Then we're going to Z-charge this one. Okay, and then for here, you can actually swing with this one and then combo something from your hand if you want to reduce the cost. We definitely do want to reduce our cost, so we're going to combo away a... let's combo away this card right here. No, we already have this one. Let's combo away this Freiza. Okay, now you have 3, so now you're able to Z Awaken. So for 1 energy, you're going to Z Awaken, you're going to pay the cost again. And then you're going to put this back on top. Okay, and then now the swap ability has been reduced. Before you want to do that, so since we use the ability of swap, we are able to draw a card here. So we do draw a card here, and then we play 1 energy to play the card, the Z leader. Okay, now he's a 20k base, that's really good. And now that he's out, you can reduce the cost of the swap abilities by 1 yellow, 1 blue. So this basically makes it a 1 yellow to play the 8 drop. So we're going to do that. We're going to pay 1 energy here to swap into the 8. Okay, and we're going to return this back to our hand. And then now that we have the 8 drop here, we can actually KO all of your opponent's cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier. And then you won't be able to play copies of this card for the whole turn. So basically kind of a limit 1. The cool thing about this particular card is that when it does leave the battle area, it does add itself to the Z energy instead. It has a double strike and dual attack and deflect. So really good keywords for sure. It also has the ability to be able to play a swap for 1 energy if this card is in your Z energy. But for the most part, you're going to be able to you're basically using this for a double strike dual attack. Okay, so we have already used, since we have already used the backside ability, but not the backside, the Z leader ability to combo, we can actually swing with this first. And then this does have dual attacks, so you'll be able to look at the top 3 cards of your deck. So we're going to look at the top 3 cards. And then you do have a Freiza's army, so you're going to be able to combo this. And then, oops, I was supposed to bottom deck those, but that's fine. So now this is going to be hitting for 35k, basically 35k double strike dual attack. And then most likely they're going to negate that attack or combo away. You're going to Z-charge this. And then this does have dual attack, so you can attack again. So you're putting a lot of pressure by playing this guy out. And then what else? You also have the leader swing too. So, I forgot to draw a card when I Z Awaken, or Z Leader, so I'm going to draw an extra card. So you can see, there's a lot of drawing. I do have the option of pretty much being more aggressive, but this is a yellow deck, so you do want to keep energy open for the most part, but you can theoretically pay that less energy to swap into this Freiza right here. That allows you to attack twice. But for the most part, you're going to pass on this because you do have Vegeta Final Flash and Black Kamehameha. You don't have an extra riposte, unfortunately, but you do have a 20k base leader, so that's always really nice. But yeah, you did give up, unfortunately you did have to give up the Freiza barrier blocker that allows you to negate an opponent's skill, higher aggression. Okay, and then we're going to, basically on your opponent's turn, they have to deal with the 20k leader. This should have been gone by now, so we're going to place it in the drop. But say they have a wide board, you can basically play Kamehameha here to rest the rest of them, and then draw a card. Oops, sorry. And it does look like you do play this one, so the Meta Cooler here is a really good tech option. Since your leader is a Z leader, you're able to play this card for free, limit 1, and negate an attack, so you can basically do that. So let's pretend we do that. So yeah, we basically negate for free here. And then you have the super combo, and then bottom deck this Final Flash since we can't play it. And then draw 2. Yeah, so a lot of defense for sure. Oops, I drew another one. So we did draw this super combo, which is really nice. And then if they're really aggressive, you can just take a life and play Freiza's Army Reinforcement. So this is a really good showcase so far of this deck. I think I just drew pretty well for this one, but yeah, you can do a lot of different plays. Yeah, and then next turn starts. And assuming everybody still stays alive, you can do this pretty much cool play. Pretty much rinse and repeat from this point on. You're able to Z-charge using this ability. Z-charge on the backside, this goes away. And then I'm also supposed to play the sorbet underneath him, so we're going to play another sorbet on top when I Z-leadered. Okay, cool. So this is pretty much underneath the leader here. So the next time you do have 2 Z energy, you're able to play him for free. But you do have a wide board here. You have a 19k leader or 19k battle cards that can swing. So you can swing here to Z charge, assuming you have any cards left in your deck. Yep, you have another one, so you can decharge this guy, bottom deck this. Okay, and then you're gonna go up to 24 here. They're gonna take it most likely because it's only 24. And then basically you can activate the swap ability here, and then you can actually play this one right here, which is a which ignores barrier and draws a card, but it's probably not needed to play it. So basically you're gonna pay 1 energy to swap into a dual attacker. So you're gonna play this guy. And then now that you have 3 or more energy, when this guy comes out, you're able to attack twice with him. You're gonna attack him once, and then basically draw a card. Forgot to draw a card with the swap ability. So definitely a lot of skills that you can use. This one hasn't used a swap ability, so you can actually pay 1 energy for this guy too. So after you attack with this guy twice, you can pay 1 energy to swap into this Freiza. And then he has double strike when he's played for when you have 3 or more energy. So you can basically attack here. You can also choose to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and this card can't be removed from play, and it can't. Oh, it just basically switches to rest mode. But this one makes it so that it can't be removed from the battle area by any skill. So you can go pretty hard on this attack, and then you can actually attack with this guy too. So that's really cool, twice, because it's in the keyword. And then yeah, if he's still there, you can pretty much if you have this guy in your Z energy, you could have been able to swap it with this guy. So unfortunately we didn't have that because we didn't know, but definitely we could have been able to swap here again. So yeah, that's pretty cool, right? The only thing that I haven't gone over yet is the to-go. It's not a to-go, but it's a sorbet free negate. So we're actually gonna find it here just to show you guys. But this is the sorbet free negate here too. So if you're playing a Freiza, if you have a Freiza Z leader, you can also free negate with this on top of the meta cooler. So this deck has a lot of negates. So tapping out doesn't seem so bad with this leader. So you can pretty much free negate if your leader is a Z leader. But yeah, but you should have won by now. You attack with a 30k twice, a 20k twice, a 20k double strike that can't be removed. Yeah, it's pretty good, I would say. So yeah, basically, thanks for showing up and watching the video. This is basically showcasing the Freiza swap. I think this deck particularly has a lot of potential to do really well in the future metagames, just because it has a really good offense and defense. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope see you guys on the next video. Peace.